President Joe Biden made his first visit to Illinois since he moved into the White House. He had a brief chat with Chicago's mayor before heading to Crystal Lake, which is not the friendliest turf for Democrats, to highlight his plan for, quote, human infrastructure. Amanda Vinicky joins us now live from Crystal Lake. Amanda.
Yes, Paris, Biden's visit to Crystal Lake was brief, about 4 hours, but it had a purpose, promoting an agenda he says will not only build back America, but he says it'll build the country back better.
And today I want to outline some of the key pieces of this Build Back Better agenda and what's it going to do for the people of Illinois and the people of the United States. It's about a country, once again, that inspires and leads the world, the opportunities we provide, the cures we discover, the technologies we pioneer, and industries we create. You know, and a nation that leads the world in combating the existential threat of climate change.
And he says that begins with education, hence his visit to the McHenry County College. I am at the campus now. He visited the Early Learning Center here. The president wants to expand a tax credit for child care expenses, also give free preschool to all 3- and 4-year-olds, and 2 years of community college free of charge, accessible to anyone. Now, other aspects of the package, putting more money into research and development, also increasing the wages paid to home care workers who look after seniors.
We're going to reimagine what our economy and our future could be and show the world, just as importantly, we'll show ourselves that democracy can deliver. The people of Illinois and the people of America and the world can lead again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Biden in his remarks did not say anything about gun violence, though Mayor Lori Lightfoot indicated yesterday that she did plan to speak with him about that. Lightfoot, as well as Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, had a brief audience with Biden when Air Force One landed at O'Hare. The mayor has previously called on Congress to pass a law clamping down on guns she says are too easily trafficked from Indiana into the city. After Biden's remarks, I did ask Illinois Congresswoman Lauren Underwood about that.
I have been a long champion of gun violence prevention measures, everything from background checks to banning assault weapons. I am from the school shooting generation, and action on this issue is long overdue, and I look forward to working with this president to get legislation signed into law.
McHenry County College and really most of McHenry County are in Underwood's district. And she did have one of the nation's tightest races last year, eking out a win over Jim Oberweis. McHenry is the only collar county that went for Trump over Biden in the presidential contest, though that also was a close one. Now, Underwood describes this area as the intersection between rural and urban America, and she says debates are healthy. It's part of democracy.
I think where it gets to be damaging to our democracy is when the radical Republicans further the big lie, right? And so what I saw in some of the protests were people who have just not come to the reality that the election was fair, that the results are in, and that we have a new president of the United States. That's okay. It doesn't mean that we can't welcome those folks in, talk to them about these issues like infrastructure. We heard the president talk about the child tax credit. These folks are going to be receiving their check next week. We want them to know why they got it and how they can use it to support their families.
That split, that polarization was on display outside of the college during Biden's visit. Now, the president arrived in Crystal Lake via a helicopter, so surely he missed it. But instead, had he gotten here via motorcade, he would have been greeted by a whole lot of pro-Trump protesters like Karen Theriot, who is chair of the MC Go Pack.
We're out here as a welcoming committee to welcome our failing president and let him know that this is Trump country.
Theriot says that she has reviewed Biden's Putting America to Work and America Families First, Build Back Better plans, and she says that they are unsustainable. There's no such thing, she says, as something that's totally free.
Know that you're ruining our country. Your plan is abominable. It's not unsustainable. And you're all for, your own church doesn't want you to receive communion. That's a statement in itself. You're a very bad man.
Now, Biden did have some fans supporting him here, including Carol MALMGREN. She worked in higher education and says that she appreciates that Biden supports colleges, including community colleges like McHenry, which she says defied the odds and during the pandemic actually increased enrollment.
He supports higher education, and I had a career in higher education, so I'm very excited that he's here. And I'm more just passing out flags. I'm trying not to take sides today, but really just being a proud American to welcome my president to Crystal Lake, Illinois, my hometown.
Congressman Sean Casten, whose district also covers part of McHenry, was likewise thrilled to have the president in the area and says he liked what he heard.
As a policy wonk at heart, I'm delighted that we are continuing to push this proposal that's going to make sure that we recover from this recession in a way that's equitable and helps out everybody, because I think that was the mistake we made in 2008. But that means fixing some of these gaps in childcare, making sure that people have access to education.
Now, there is a bipartisan deal in Congress on the more classic conception of infrastructure, so things like roads, bridges, and whatnot, but not on what the White House is calling human infrastructure. Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy says that he does believe that some version of this plan by Biden will get GOP support.
That helps us in the long run. You know, the Chinese are not waiting for us. And other countries are not waiting for us to get upskilled or better educated. The only people who would be applauding if we did not get this done would be our competitors. And so we can't afford for that not to happen.
Still, the divide that we saw on display here in Crystal Lake, very much alive in Washington, and Democrats hold only slim majorities. So it is going to be an uphill battle, including not just over how to spend money, but how to pay for a plan like this. Biden does say he has an answer for that, including he wants to set a minimum 15% tax on corporate profits, and then also reducing those 2017 federal tax cuts that he says really only benefited the highest and wealthiest Americans. With that, back to you.
Certainly eventful day out there in Crystal Lake. All right, Amanda, thanks very much. And we'll have more on Biden's visit to Illinois later on in the program in Spotlight Politics.